Okay, we are back with some Payne's Creek Killing. Wait, it's been a moment since I actually played. We were at the... Okay. Yeah, okay. We went here to go look in Stephen Moss's room. We now have these keys, which we already had beforehand. He gave us a couple of those clues. Birth date, something at the hospital. Where can I find the key, which looks like a cross. So, okay. Very quickly, we're gonna go down here. And hopefully Kelvin's in here. We don't know his last name, but we know his first name. So hopefully there's not multiple Kelvins, or else that would be bad. Let's see. Hopkins, these must be his parents. Well, the butler's parents, I should say. Okay, so this must be him. And yeah, they do give it to us. So October 24th, 1902. So that would be 10/24/1902. Just write that down somewhere. Now we're gonna head over to the church and do that. And then I think we're gonna go to the hunting lodge or hunting cabin, whatever they called it. I'm just not sure where that would be. Oh, getting comfortable here. Yeah, I haven't played this in a while. I haven't done much recording or anything because, like, I did a 12-hour session and it got... like, my throat was just killing me anytime I tried to talk too much. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break. Alright, so we have 6 numbers. Let's do 224 and then make that into a 0 and that into a 2. Okay, nice. Nothing's in it. I love how, oh, we can go a little faster when we're crouched. Nice. Alright, so 1 0 2 4 2 0. Alright. Dear Father Calvin, this is a letter about things that I have witnessed during my stay in Payne's Creek. While in service to mother-in-law, I'm just going to call her mother-in-law because I cannot say her name. I have no one to confide in and dare not speak to you in public, hence this letter. I accompanied Mrs. Mother-in-law to Payne's Creek on July 4th, 1975, to visit her son Charles. It was rumored that Vivian had a nervous breakdown following her own delivery of Trisha, that she had to stay in PCH for rehabilitation for several months. During that time period, Charles was all alone. He found comfort in a housemaid by the name of Sophia. They had an affair. A boy was born. 2 days after arrival, we were informed that Sophia, along with a child, had left Payne's Creek. Where she could have gone off to was a mystery for all of us. I assume most of us believed the story, including myself. However, mother-in-law refused to believe that Sophia would leave when she would have been accepted into the Roberts family. The boy she bore for Charles would have guaranteed that. Mrs. Mother-in-law initiated a search for Sophia with her driver Patrick and myself. It lasted less than 2 months before she passed away from a heart attack. What I want to confess in this letter is not about Sophia, although I was initiated by her disappearance. It's about Miss mother-in-law's untimely death. You see, she had a heart condition and it had been affecting her for a while. However, her medication had always kept her stable. Her prescription was still the same during her visit to Baines Creek, yet her condition deteriorated. The family doctor, Henry Johnson, confirmed that her search for Sophia had taken a toll on her health. All she all she needed was to rest as much as she could and she would be fine. I know that despite the doctor's advice, she did not stop the search. Did that create stress on her? Yes. But should have killed her? According to the physician attending to her back home, no, definitely not within such a short time span if she had taken her medication. Her body was never autopsied. Her son, Charles, wanted her body untouched and buried properly. As Patrick and I were packing to leave for home, I couldn't help but wonder who could have wanted her dead. Is there a connection between the affair of Charles and the housemaid, the disappearance of Sophia and her child, and the death of Mrs. Roberts? I would like to say whom I might suspect, yet I am not. I'm in no position, and I'm afraid that I might name the wrong person. As I write this letter, I hope you can understand what I'm trying to convey. I pray that the truth will be revealed as God permits it. Okay, so this is a maid, caretaker, maybe nurse person for the mother-in-law. And here we know that the mother-in-law actually went searching for Sophia and the kid. And honestly, I get it. You're alone, but there is no need for you to have an affair. Like, your wife was in the hospital over your child, and you, what, decided you needed some? Like, I don't understand it. I never get the understanding of why people would want to cheat or anything when you could just, if like, I don't get it. Anyway, so we understand the father actually knew about the affair. Father Calvin, I should say, the pastor. He actually knew about the affair. And we know that the mother-in-law was actually killed by Vivian and the doctor. I guess the only thing really left, we still don't understand why Sophia would just leave. She was going to be accepted into the family because of the boy that she had. Like, I'm pretty sure if it was a girl, she would have been, like, outcast real damn quick. But because it was a boy, she was, guaranteed safety in the family. Except, the wife didn't like that very much. So she had her suspicions about it, and she told the father about it. And, yeah. I mean, all the information we got there is information we already kind of had, so that wasn't, like, a massive find. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, I don't know. It wasn't that big of a deal, I think. Alright, so, like, information-wise, not that big of a deal. Understandably, was a pretty big deal when she wrote it. Now, map. Hunting ground. So I would say that the cabin is probably over here. Hunting cabin, hunting grounds kind of go to, hand in hand there, but what do I know? I want to say, yeah, this part was open, okay. So we come down here. Hunting should be around here. Well, actually, hunting's over there, right? Trail closed. Okay. Well, let's head over here then. See if we can't get through. There's a birdhouse in the tree. Okay, we got something here. I shouldn't go in the water, my equipment will get wet. Your camera? Hold it above your head. Oh, but there we go. To-do list. Get more firewood. Yut. Okay. Oh, there you go. Oh, all right. Go around the corner. You see it? All right. I'm done messing around with it. We got shower, toilet. Once again, more pills. Got a phone. No messages. Nothing going on there. Oop. A dull blade. Probably get that sharpened. More like a door than a window. Oh, I think this is that secret room we found earlier. I think this is probably supposed to be like a hint to that. Okay. It's saying, oh, my control. Okay, hold on. It's F. Thank you. I had my controller still plugged in from playing some Paladins. So we have another Diary of Scott. 93. Today is Valentine's Day. I wanted to spend the day with Trisha, but Charles invited me to go hunting. I was nervous, not because it's my first time hunting, but because it's with Trisha's dad. It turned out that I actually enjoyed being with him. I feel comfortable talking to him. I don't get it. Why would Father Matthew forbid me from being with Trisha? Is it because I'm not rich? Or because I'm an orphan? He didn't explain anything to me. Maybe he doesn't love me anymore. I feel so confused. We Corey, sorry. I always find it weird that name. We fought, but I understand. Again today, I can't stand Father Matthew's preaching attitude, so I yelled back at him. I know I should have done that, but I'm so frustrated. Father Matthew said that I am not an orphan. What does that mean? Does he know who my parents are? I pressed him to keep talking, but he wouldn't tell me anything after that. I need to know more. In these past weeks, it has become more difficult for me to talk to Father Matthew. Whenever we speak, he addressed only church stuff. I realized that I'm starting to avoid Father Matthew. Whenever he asks me how my day was, I don't feel like answering him. When I ask him about my past, he's always trying to change the subject. I feel so frustrated. I moved out of the church. Father Matthew did not object, although he looked a bit sad. Mr. Roberts was kind enough to let me stay at his cabin if I'm willing to work for him as an assistant gardener. That way, the mansion garden can still be well maintained even when Andrew cannot make it. It's been a month since Charles gave me this cabin to stay. I still don't know where to start my investigation. Andrew has been drinking. Bernard asked me to bring him home today. Whenever he's drunk, he accuses himself, saying that he's a sinner. Sometimes he would mutter names that I've never heard of. Of all the names, I think I can only recognize the mother-in-law's name. I just don't remember where I've heard that name before. I just returned from the orphanage and found out it was Father Calvin who brought me there. The record sheet stated that I am from Paynes Creek. How? If I was born in Paynes Creek, there must be records of me in the hospital, but I've checked, there's none. I broke into Father Matthew's bedroom today. I shouldn't have done that, but he might have something that could tell me about my birth parents. He didn't have anything relevant. Andrew's drunk again. This is the 5th time I had to bring him home, then cover his shift. It's getting quite annoying. As I laid him down on his bed, he murmured repeatedly, "I am so sorry, Sophia." Who's Sophia? Okay. Uh, he's hunting. We already knew that they went hunting together, and Not sure why Father Matthew got in with it. Maybe it is like because of Robert's family like donating a lot of money, and Vivian was like, "Hey, nix this out," blah blah blah. Um, but because I'm an orphan, I have to say you're not an orphan. Matthews took you in, right? Like Matthew took you in, said that you can call him dad if you want to. He adopted you. You're no longer an orphan. You have a family. That I I don't know how that would feel. Like I did have my parents growing up, but I probably shouldn't have. Like they shouldn't have had kids type thing. But I just don't get why he would say that. I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make sense because like the dude took you in out of the orphanage, adopted you. You're no longer an orphan. You're his son. Like I've always wanted to adopt, and if I ever found out that the child's like, "Oh, well, I'm an orphan." It's like, um, no, you're my child. You might not came from me, but you are my child, and you're not an orphan because you're now my child. Like the moment you sign those papers, if you don't have that mindset, maybe you shouldn't be adopting. You know what I mean? Like if that child you're not going to consider your child, I don't know. My small rant. I'm sorry. Uh it's okay to be frustrated and like having fights with your parents are completely natural. It's all part of everyone has their own personalities and sometimes even parents' personalities doesn't mix well with their children's personality and that's okay. That's something to remember. So, I feel I'm frustrated. I understand like he's probably frustrated too, but you know, as long as you both come back and be like, "Yeah, I love you still," but like I get frustrated and I'll let people know, "Hey, I'm frustrated. Like stop. Leave me alone for a little bit. Let me calm myself down and get it back into talks." Because you don't really want to yell, and if it does get into yelling, you apologize for that later and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry I yelled, but I need you to understand my feelings on this. It wasn't against you. It just I feel like it my feelings weren't being, considered. Whatever it may be." But yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm not an orphan. You're not. You got adopted. You are his child now. Like, I don't know. Um, but maybe he doesn't know anything about your birth parents. But now we know that Father Calvin, right? Where is it? Father Calvin was the one who brought him here. Uh, and he's from Paynes Creek. So that's something else right there. So he is from Paynes Creek. I need to fix my thingy here. This thingy. There we go. So from Paynes Creek, and then Kelvin brought him here. I'm gonna put OR just for orphanage because we are getting a lot of information here. I broke into Father Matthew's bedroom today, and I shouldn't have done that. No, you probably shouldn't have. Like, he didn't have anything relevant. Obviously, if he knew something about your parents, he probably would say something to you because, I mean, technically, yeah, they are your birth parents. And if you're wanting to know about them, you should be able to have that information. But breaking into his room probably wasn't the best idea to do that, especially when he said, "Hey, I don't know anything." I'm so sorry, Sophia. Who is Sophia? Um, don't know. Do we have? She worked at the mansion. I don't know. Andrew. I think Scott shouldn't have probably been listening too much into Andrew, as Andrew seemed to be hit a break. Okay, we actually have 2 keys now. Didn't we get a key? Oh, that's a chest lock. Oh, the chest in the, okay. For the church. Okay, I guess we're going back to the church. Because we didn't get that door. But something happened with Andrew that made him get into drinking, and then he's having hallucinations, and he's, like, stuck on this Sophia chick. I don't know. But it seemed like he was getting better, and then he died. So, I don't know. I think if Scott, instead of thinking he was alone in this and trying to find his birth parents, maybe he was just trying to not hurt Father Matthew's feelings by trying to find his birth parents. But if Matthews wouldn't understand that, you know, the kid wants to at least know his birth parents, because I get that that's a lingering thing, you know, if you know that you were adopted and you don't know your birth parents and you kind of want to know, it's really frustrating when you're told that they don't know anything. But what they should have done is Matthews and Scott should have probably got together and try to look, because I know he was, what, 20 or so in this right now. I still honestly consider that a child, because you're still learning. You're pretty much gotten your wings and you're flying out of the nest. You're still learning how things go down, you know? Alright. Oh, we have one from St. Patrick's Orphanage. Dear Scott, I'm Sister Rachel. Although I wasn't here when you last came, I hope you remember me. I was your nursing mother after you arrived here those years ago. I understand that you came here earlier to find out how you came to be at St. Patrick's Orphanage. On July 4th, 1975, Father Calvin came to us holding a basket with you in it. He said that you lost your parents and there was no one to take care of you. He told us that your name was Scott. After he left, Sister Emma asked if I would be willing to take care of a baby. At first, I hesitated because it's a huge responsibility. But when I saw your face so full of innocence and curiosity, I felt as if God himself had delivered you to me. I accepted the task. When you were 10, Father Matthew came to see you. He had just become the head priest of Paynes Creek Trinity Church. He visited often, usually at the beginning of the month. Whenever he left, he would leave an envelope containing a small sum of money. He said it was for anything you needed, and that whatever was left then was given to the orphanage. I would be lying to say that I wasn't sad when you left the orphanage. But when Father Matthew adopted you, I believe your life would be would be better in Paynes Creek than here. And I dearly hope it was, so it's so. Everything enclosed within the package used to be yours. I think you should have these. May God bless you, Sister Rachel Davis. So that's sweet. I needed a drink. Let's see. So, we know Father Calvin did it. Because we read the book in the cabin. Let's see. And then Father Matthew would come and give money. That's a little bit odd. Like, maybe it was just something that they did. Because his parents were, you lost your parents, so probably they were killed or, you know, died. It happens. Um, and there was no one to take care of you. So, yeah, it makes sense. So right there, it kind of explains like, yeah, you lost your parents, and that's why you ended up in the orphanage. And because Father Calvin brought him there, maybe he was like, here, we're going to help out as much as we can, as he was part of our flock. You know, isn't that what they call the congregation in a flock? I don't know. But, you know, maybe. I don't, that's, it's nice though. A key to a basement. My baby boy, 1975. What did that say? A blanket with moons, stars, my baby boy, text in the corner. Okay. And we have another diary. I asked Andrew about Sophia. First, he freaked out, saying that I shouldn't go around speaking that name. Then he said he had never heard that name in his life. Is he hiding something? Why would he lie about Sophia? This makes me want to know who Sophia is even more. You're so curious. Oh my god. I asked Wanda if she knew anything about Sophia. She said Sophia used to work as a maid in the mansion for a few years until she was let go. When asked why, Wanda said she didn't know. However, she thought that Sophia was a manipulative woman that would do anything to get what she wanted. Wanda resented that. Okay. So Wanda... Okay, sorry. I met Derek today and asked if he knew anyone by the name of Sophia. Apparently, he's not on speaking terms with me. I wonder if this had anything to do with Trisha, you think? During today's lunch, I asked Bernard if he knew anything about Sophia. If he knew about Sophia. He was surprised that I knew that name, but proceeded to say that he didn't know her that well. Somehow I feel uncomfortable talking. Somehow I feel uncomfortable whenever I talk with Bernard. His cold gaze gives me the shivers. I met Dorothy while tending to the garden. I asked her about Sophia. She looked confused. She was curious as to where I heard that name. I told her it came from Andrew. She kindly explained that Sophia was a close friend of hers when Sophia first came to work for the Roberts family. Unfortunately, she had an affair with Charles when Vivian was hospitalized. Shortly after, she left Paynes Creek. No one has heard of her ever since. Dorothy thinks that Sophia has probably started a new life in another place. I wonder if the affair was the reason why everyone's quiet about it. You think? Like, Charles is the mayor and they don't, it's a hush-hush. And then Sophia goes, just, I don't know. Like, why are you being so curious about someone that you don't even know? But this is where he starts asking everyone about her. But yeah, obviously that's the reason why everyone's pretty quiet about it. Like, one, really not supposed to... Is this the key to this basement? No. Probably back to the cabin. The only basement I know. And... Okay. I'm not really seeing... Oh god, diaries. 1975. Okay. A few months have passed since I arrived here. This missionary trip is harder than I expected. There's no clean water. The food lacks whatever. And there isn't enough medicine. We have requested help from WHO, but haven't received any reply yet. I feel so frustrated. What can I do? When Father Calvin first sent me here, he asked if I would be willing to stay for 6 months. It would be a good training for me, he said. I agreed. That was before I came. 6 months have now passed. I think I will extend this for another 6 months. The people here need as much help as they can get. I am not a doctor, but I can help them through my support and prayers. I will let Father Calvin know about my decision. Time flies. I can't believe I'll be going home tomorrow. I will miss the people here. At the same time, I can't wait to get back home and meet everyone again. Father Calvin summoned me this morning and told me that Sophia had left Paynes Creek. How can that be? The last time we wrote, she told me she had so many things to share with me when I got back. Was she forced? Is she hiding something? I just cannot believe that Sophia left without telling me anything. Something must have happened to her that she could not tell me. It's been 6 months since Sophia left Paynes Creek. I have asked everyone around. No one seems to know where she went. Father Calvin told me to let it go. He's right. I should not dwell on matters of the heart. There are more important things in life that I need to focus on. Is Sophia and I were meant to meet again. Sorry, I'm so used to saying meant to be. Meant to meet again, God will let me know. It's time I move on with my life. So he goes away for a year, right? And I'm guessing this is before he... okay. I don't know. So... was she forced? Is she hiding something yet? She had an affair with her boss, right? And popped out a kid for him. Maybe she just didn't want to tell her cousin. I don't know. Isn't that cousins or something, right? Pretty sure we have that written down somewhere. Or I'm just remembering. I had always wanted to be adopted, but I guess heaven had... Oh! Okay, this is before all that. I guess heaven had something else in store for me. Instead of being taken in by a family, I came to Paynes Creek Trinity Church. To be honest, I would prefer to have a real family with people whom I can call mom and dad. But Father Calvin said God had other plans for my future, and in time I will realize it too. The Roberts family is looking for a new maid. I told Mrs. Robert that I have a relative of mine would fit the position really well. I know I shouldn't lie, but I want Sophia to be here in Paynes Creek. Father Calvin always says that we have to help those in need. Sophia is in need, and I'm sure she will be glad to take this job. Since starting the job at the mansion, Sophia had settled in nicely. Whenever she has time off from work, we've been exploring Paynes Creek together. I have so much to show her. This is just like the orphanage stage, and I'm extremely comfortable being with her. Today was Sophia's day off. We ate at the Moon Cafe again. I can't seem to get enough of this place. The food is delicious, the atmosphere relaxing, and the coffee tastes great. Maybe it's all because Sophia's company, but still, I love to hang out here. This is definitely one of my favorite places in Paynes Creek, followed closely by the church and the Little Big Books. Alright, so he got her the job. Didn't we read this somewhere? Diary, wasn't it? Dorothy. Yeah. That's where we got it. Where did I guess I didn't write it down. Oh, now we know that Matthew actually lied. It's not a comfortable, like it's not, it's a small lie. To say, hey, yeah, I have a cousin, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it would actually seem like Matthew likes Sophia, and then Dorothy actually mentions that I think that she liked her, if I didn't know better. So he had feelings for Sophia. I'm just gonna type that out. Had feelings for Sophia, because I'm like 90% sure that he did. We have gathered again your case. We accept the request to represent your son, Scott Brooks, in court. We are processing the draft. Alright, this is just attorney stuff. So, donation from the Roberts family. Okay. Payment for church maintenance. Check from dealership. Oh, that's deposits, right? First payment, 2,000, and 3,000 for his second. So he has spent $5,000 for this lawyer. I mean, for the most part, he got $5,000 from selling his car. That's not bad. What's a little extra, like 100 or so? Okay. Honestly, we didn't get a whole lot of information there. Like, we now just know that Sophia wasn't his cousin. And Dorothy's intuition was correct on that. Like, thinking he had feelings for her. Oh, okay, that was a good pop. Like, I just stretched. Let's go back to the hunting cabin. Because that's the only basement that I know of that we can't get into. Makes sense. So, based on everything that's going on, I think one, Scott's a good kid. I don't think he actually I don't think he killed Vivian. I think he was just there at the wrong time and unfortunately was the last person seen. Doesn't mean that, you know, he was the last person to see her, but he was the last person seeing her. And he's a very curious guy. Like, you drop him a hook and he is full line on that hook. Like, the whole thing with Sophia, we now know, like, there was not really a reason for him to go psycho for her, like trying to figure out who she is. And now we have this whole okay. We now have like this whole thing where he's wanting to figure out who Sophia is, and it's like, you don't have to know every single person's name, like who everyone is. Like, you need to calm down. But and then finding out he's actually from Paynes Creek. No one's actually mentioned anyone else like dying in that time. I don't know. On Valentine's Day, Trisha gave me some chocolate. I've never seen that brand before. It must be expensive. I haven't finished making the jewelry music box. I would hope that it would be her Valentine's Day present. I'll just give it her later. Hopefully she can forgive me. It's been quite some time since I last talked to Father Matthew. He's always asked me how I'm doing after Sunday service, but I tend to ignore him whenever possible. I know it's wrong. I need to find a way to make amends with him. The grass has been growing wild lately. The weeds are everywhere and Andrew's not here. Actually, he hasn't been here for quite a while now. I wonder what happened to him. I should visit him after work tomorrow. I was about to pick Andrew up for work when I found him laying unconscious on the floor. There was an empty bottle of sleeping pills on the table. I immediately called the ambulance. According to the nurse, this is Andrew's third suicide attempt. She's glad that I saved him in time. An hour later, he could have been dead. I don't know why Andrew would commit suicide. What I know is that he must be lonely. He needs a friend. I visited Andrew at the hospital today. He's out of the ER and is recovering quite well. While I was cutting the fruits, he told me his story. In 1972, there was a maid who came to work at the mansion. Her name was Sophia. She was a hard-working young lady with a great personality. She was loved by many. A few years into her job, however, she had an affair with Charles. A child was born. When Vivian found out, she was furious and decided to kick her out of Paynes Creek. What happened after that was a tragedy. On July 26, 1975, at 11 p.m., Vivian, Dr. Johnson, and Andrew confronted Sophia. A fight broke out. Sophia fell and hit her head on the nearby well. She stopped moving. Dr. Johnson checked and realized she was dead. Her neck had broken. No one knew what to do. Vivian then asked Andrew to take care of the body and her baby. Andrew did what he had to do to protect Vivian. After that night, they vowed never to tell anyone about that incident. Before leaving, I asked Andrew what the baby's name was. He said it was Vincent. As I left the hospital, I couldn't help but pity Andrew. He's living a confusing life and the struggle shows. I hope he can heal. Wow. Okay. That's complete. Alright. So Andrew hasn't been showing up for work. Then next thing we know, he attempted a suicide attempt, and this is his third attempt, and Scott decides he needs a friend. This kid's too nice. Like, he is very curious. He seems nice. He's told, like, everyone says he's very handsome. He's charmed, hardworking. Like, but we have his graveyard. Like, he's in the grave, right? We know that he died. So what? I don't know. I don't know what happened there. And now we know that Sophia was killed. And Vivian said to take care of the body and the baby. So Sophia, okay, hold on. I'm going to put her death thing down. Because now we know that she died. And they swore to never talk about it. And the people that swore to not talk about it are now dead. Andrew, the doctor, and Vivian are all dead. I wonder if... I don't think... Well, no, because why would Scott do that? And Andrew died in a house fire, probably from drinking. But then he said that he was on the men's. And then Andrew died in the lake. Or not Andrew. Johnson died in the lake. Wow, I don't know. But confirmed, yeah, we already know it was Vincent. But this could be the catalyst that sent Andrew over, and he got into drinking, which made his wife leave with their son. And why Vivian actually dealt with him drinking so long. Like, the Roberts were like, he's always drunk, blah, blah, blah. But they tolerated that. And no wonder why in the security room it said she trusts him. Like, that's, yeah, okay. That's really shiny. All right. Pictures. We got... Where can... Would that be... Well, I was just trying to, like, line it up to the picture, but that works too. Okay. Oh. Okay. That looks so uncomfortable. You have to get, like, a mattress or something for that. Now we know where he slept. Oh. Okay. before we go over there, let's just check everything we know. Okay, he has security tapes. Sorry, you're not supposed to have those. There we go. All right. Human mind. Okay, that's a little odd for him, I think. All right, so I found out who killed my mother. Who killed my mother? Okay. You're not worried about your dad? He's my father? What? Couldn't be her. She tried to find Sophia. He's my father. Yeah. Oh. Kind of messed up. Not gonna lie. I need to grab a drink. I mean, I'm glad he kind of figured out that. I guess that means he's Vincent, which is why he does. But how did the other two know? Like, how did Vivian and Matthew knows? So he knocks Matthew off. He's 6 years old. So he knew. Oh, okay. Hold on. Needed a drink. Okay, so he took Dorothy off. Obviously, he should have probably marked Trisha off as well. She was like a baby, not even a year old. 6, Matthew's father, and mother-in-law. So he somehow figured out that he killed the mother-in-law, Derek's mom. So he was already a step ahead on that one. If he had this information, though, why did he not report that? Like, hey, this doctor did this. Why was she killed? My baby boy. Well, yeah, no, that makes sense because he just said that that was his mother. Well, that's his father, so that would make Sophia his mom. Paynes Creek sewers. Old sewer entrance. What are these for? X. X. X and X? I don't understand the X's. Or all the little marks there. I realized who I am from the moment I saw the photo. I have the exact same blanket. I know who my father is. Everything makes sense now. I visited Andrew today. I needed to know where they hid Mom's body, but he cried and begged me not to say anything about it anymore. There was no room for whatever questions I had left. I then told him I was the boy he gave to Father Calvin to get rid of. He was utterly shocked. After that, I left. I could not bear to look at him for another second. I know who I am, and now I feel everything is falling apart. Andrew came to the cabin and told me where the body was hidden. He said he was sorry and left. Externally, I was quiet. Internally, I was sputtering and livid. After he left, I came to my room and cried. The well had dried up and was covered in moss. I wouldn't have known that the well even existed if I didn't work at the mansion. I finally found Mom's body. Oh my god. I finally found Mom's body. I buried her in the cemetery next to Father Calvin. There was no There was no tombstone for her, just a wooden cross. I don't think Father Calvin would mind. After all, he was the one who saved me. A month has passed. I haven't worked since, and I've stopped meeting anyone. Trish knocks on my door every day, but I hide each time. She cries every time, begging me to come out, anxious to know why I won't see her, if she's done anything wrong. I don't know what to say to her, but I know we cannot be together anymore. Father Matthew visited me today. He said that he hadn't seen me in church for a while, and that no one has heard from me in weeks. He asked how I was doing. I began to cry. The tears just flowed down my cheeks. I cried and I cried. I just couldn't stop them. I told him everything. I told him that I know that Charles is my father. I confessed that I now know that Trisha is my half sister. I said I didn't know what to do. He listened and didn't speak. Okay, so yeah. I bet you it is falling apart because now you have to figure out what to do with this information. And the well has dried up. So they actually put the body of Sophia in the well. It's probably behind that iron gate that we had originally seen. I finally... Not only did he go and find out who his parents are, he figured out that his mother was killed. Andrew told him where the body was, and then on his own he went and recovered his mother's body from the well, brought it from the mansion to the cemetery, and buried it. Now we know the wooden cross is Sophia. But you really need to tell Trisha. Like, you need to get a hold of Charles and be like, hey, I need you to sit down and listen to me and stuff. Like, that probably would have been the best idea, is bring it out to Charles and be like, listen, crazy, I know. But here is a pattern of the baby's blanket. I want to know how these, like, maybe the pictures it's not doing his justice. And because I think, you know, he's a cheater, I now don't want anything to do with him. But I just don't see how the women were, like, flocking to him. An old gate key. Okay, so we have Dorothy's house. Old sewer. Probably the sewer gate. Now we just have to go find that. Music box. This is probably the one that's in Trisha's room. And this is the... Okay. So, on the way to... We're gonna go to Dorothy's house first. And then we'll go back to the mansion. But we are going to do that later in another episode, as we are getting close to the final... Like, I try not to go too much in the recording. I try to stop it before an hour. Just because I don't want to have, like, a super long recording and then... Yeah. But we're getting really close. I think we got a gate key, which we know what gate that goes to. Because there's a gate behind the mansion that is like behind a tree that we tried opening earlier and couldn't. Then we got the music box key. We had to figure out where the sewer entrance is, which I'm gonna say is near the mansion because of how the map look. See, so it's somewhere nearish the mansion, and then we have to go to Dorothy's house. So Dorothy's house, then the mansion, and then I guess the sewer. Man, what a wild ride. Alright. I hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Take it easy.